नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। Myself, JVN Dr. Astha Sikarwar, Assistant Professor, Department of Organ of Medicine, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today's topic is simple substance from GT Kent philosophy. Aphorism number 9. In Organon of Medicine, in the healthy condition of man, the spiritual vital force, the dynamism that animates the material body, rules with unbounded sway and retains all the parts of the organism in admirable, harmonious, vital operation as regards both sensations and function, so that our indwelling, reason gifted mind can freely employ this living, healthy instrument for the higher purpose of our existence. This paragraph introduces the vital principle. We cannot consider the vital principle as harmony, nor harmony as principle. Principle is something that is prior to harmony. Harmony is the result of principle or law. Hahnemann could perceive this immaterial vital principle. It was something he arrived at himself from his own process of thinking. There was paucity of individual ideas at that time, that is, ideas outside of the accepted sciences. But Hahnemann, but Hahnemann thought much, and by thinking, he arrived at the idea contained in this paragraph, which only appears in the last edition. In the healthy condition of man, the immaterial vital principle animates the material body. If he had used the words immaterial vital substance, it would have been even stronger, for you will see it to be true that it is a substance. At present day, advanced thinkers are speaking of the fourth state of matter, which is immaterial substance. We now say the solids, liquids, and gases, and the radiant form of matter. Substance in simple form is just as positively substance as matter in concrete form. When we think of something that has essence, has actual being, he must think of that essence as something existing and as having something which has ultimates. He must think in a series whereby cause enters into effect and furthermore into a series of effects. If he don't do this, he destroys the very nature and idea of influx and continuance. If man does not know what is continuous, if he does not realize that there are beginnings, intermediates, and ends, he cannot think, for the very foundation of thought is destroyed. What do we mean by influx क्या होता है? As a broad and substantial illustration, let us think of a chain. What is it that holds the last link of a chain to its investment or first attachment? At once we will say that the intermediate link, its previous link, and so on to the first link and its first attachment. Don't Do we not thus see that there is one continuous dependence from the last to the first hook? Wherever that chain is separated, it is as much separated as possible, and there is no longer influx from one link to the other. In the same way, as soon as we commence to think of things disconnectedly, we lost the power of communication between them. All things must be united, or the series is broken and influx ceases. Again, we see that man exists as to his body, but as yet we don't see all the finer purposes of his being. To believe that man exists without a cause, to believe that his life force goes on for a while and does not exist from something prior to it, to think that there is not constantly and continuously that influx from cause whereby he continues to live, demonstrates that the man who does so in an irrational being. From his senses, man has never been able to prove that anything can exist. It has continually flowing into it, that which holds it in continuance. Then why should he, when he goes into the immaterial world, assume that energy is the first? We shall find by a continued examination of the question of simple substance that we have some reason for saying that energy is not energy pares, but that it is a powerful substance and is endowed from intelligence that is of itself a substance. The materialist, to be consistent with his principle, is obliged to deny the soul and to deny a substantial God, because the energy which he dwells upon so much is nothing, and he must assume that God is nothing and therefore there is none. But the one who is rational will be led to see that there is a supreme God, that he is substantial, that he is a substance. Everything proceeds from him, and the whole series, from the supreme to the most ultimate matter, in this way is connected. Just as surely as there is a separation and not a continuous influx from first to last, ultimates will cease to exist. The true holding together of the material world is performed by the simple substance. There are two words that come apparently to the mind of man, the word of thought and the word of matter. That is the word of immaterial substance and the word of material substance. The word of material substance is in order and harmony. Everything that appears before the eye has beginning. The forms are harmonious. Every crystal of a matter crystallizes in accordance with order. Man's very anatomy forms harmoniously. We see nothing in the material world to account for this, but we perceive that all things are held in position because of the continuous influx from first to last. There is no break in the chain and no break in the flow of power from first to last. Nothing can exist unless its cause be flowing into it continuously. We see that all the things made by man's hand decay and fall into pieces in time. But look at the things perpetuated from influx, look at their order and harmony from time to eternity, working by the same plan and in the same order. There are many qualities predicted of simple substance, and one of the first propositions we have to consider is that simple substance is endowed with formative intelligence. That is, it is intelligently operates and forms the economy of the whole animal, vegetable, and mineral kingdoms. Everything with from goes into its natural course and assumes and continues its own private state. The laws of chemistry by analysis may be so revealed to man that he can detect all elements because they conduct themselves uniformly. The simple substance gives to everything its own type of life, gives it distinction, gives it identity whereby it differs from all other things. The crystal of the earth has its own association, its own identity. It is endowed with a simple substance that would establish its identity from everything in the animal kingdom, everything in the mineral kingdom. This is due to the formative intelligence of simple substance, which is continuous from its beginning to its end. If we examine the frost work upon the window, we see its tendency to manifest formative intelligence. Plants grow in fixed form. So it is with man from his beginning to his end, there is continuous influx into man from his cause. Hence, man and all forms are subject to the law of influx. If man is in the highest order and is rational, he wills to keep himself in continuous order that his thoughts may continue rational, but he is so placed in freedom that he can also destroy his rationality. This substance is subject to changes. In other words, it may be flowing in order or disorder, may be sick or normal, and the changes to a great extent may be observed or even created by man himself. Man may cause it to flow in disorder. Any simple substance may pervade the entire material substance without disturbing or replacing it. Magnetism can occupy a substance and not displace any of it nor cause derangement of its particles or crystals. Cohesion is a simple substance. It is not the purpose of cohesion to disturb or displace the substance that it occupies. Therefore, this first substance or primitive substance exists as such in all distinct forms or growths of concrete forms, and the material concrete individual entity is not disturbed or displaced by the simple substance. The simple substance is capable of occupying the material substance without accident to the substance or to itself. When the when the simple substance is an active substance, it dominates and controls the body it occupies. It is the cause of force. The body does not move, think, or act unless it has its interior degrees of immaterial substance which acts upon the economy continuously in the most beautiful manner. But as soon as the body is separated from its characterizing simple substance, there is a cessation of influx. The energy derived from the simple substance keeps all things in order, but it are kept in order all functions and the perpetuations of the forms and proportions of every animal, plant, and mineral. All operation that is possible is due to the simple substance, and by it the very universe itself it kept in order. It is not only operates every material substance, but it is the cause of cooperation of all things. Examine the universe and behold the stars, the sun and the moon. They don't interfere with each other. They kept in continuous order. Everything is in the harmony and is kept so by the simple substance. We see cooperation in every degree and this cooperation working in perfect harmony. We see human beings moving about. We see things going on about us on the earth. We see the trees of the forest making room for each other, existing in perfect harmony. The very sound of the forest have harmony, and all this coordinate is brought about by the simple substance. There is nothing more wonderful than the coordination of the man's economy, his will, and his understanding, and his movements, which coordinate is carried by the life substance. Without this, all matter is dead and cannot be used by the higher purposes of its existence. By the aid of simple substance, the divine creator is able to use all created beings and forms by their highest purpose. Matter is subject to reduction and it can be continuously reduced until it is in the form of simple substance, but it is not subject to restriction. No matter can be returned to its ultimate form after it has been reduced to its primitive form. It is not in the power of man to change from first to last, that is, it is not in his power to ultimate the simple substance. This is retained for the supreme power himself, from whom power continually flows through all the primitive substance to the end, that is, to ultimate. Now, do you begin to see that the thing that does not start from its beginning with a purpose is not a thing? Or to put it another way, what makes anything a thing is because of its purpose or ultimate, which is use, and there is never created a thing without a purpose. If it does not exist in continuous series from first to last, it cannot be of use or of purpose. Hence the end is in the first and the end is in the every succeeding link to its ultimate. The very form in which the use of is to be appropriated and established. When you establish the first link in the chain, you have the end of the next link in the view. The simple substance may exist as simple, compound, or complex, as such never disturbed harmony, but always continue from first to last, and in that way all purposes are conserved. When substances come together in that way, they don't disturb the simple substance of each other. There is nothing destroyed. Each one retains its own identity and they can be reduced again to their simples by reaction and reagents. Now, all these enter into the human body, and very element in the human body preserves its identity throughout and whenever found can be identified. By such combination, however, merely represents a composite state, but when these composite substances and simple substances are brought into an additional condition, that is, when they are presided over and dominated by something, they may be said to enter into a very complex form, and in the body, a force keeps every other force in order. This vital force, which is a simple substance, is again dominated by another simple substance still higher, which is the soul. It has been the aim of a great many philosophers by study to arrive at some conclusion concerning the soul. They have attempted to locate it at some particular point, but we can see from above that it is not in circumscribed location. In considering simple substance, we cannot think of time, place, or space, but we are not in the realm of mathematics nor the restricted measurements of the word of space and time. We are in the realm of simple substance. It is very finite to think of place and time. Quantity cannot be predicted of simple substance, only quality in degrees of fineness. We will see the importance of this in its spatial relation to homeopathy by using an illustration. When you have administered sulfur 55 mg in frequent doses and find it will not work any longer, you gave the CM potency and see the curative action taken up at once. Do we not see by this that we have entered a series of degrees and are dealing entirely with quality? The simple substance also has adaptation. At this point, man's reasoning comes up leading to false conclusions from the appearance, so that he has accepted what is called the environment theory. That the individual has an adaptation to his environment is not questioned, but what is it that adapts itself to environment? The dead body cannot. When we reason from within out, we see that the simple substance adapts itself to its surroundings and tends to adapt its house to the surrounding, and thus the human body is kept in a state of order in the cold or in the heat, in the wet and damp and under all circumstances. The surroundings themselves produce nothing, are not a causes, they are only circumstances. The life substance within the body is the wise reagent of the soul, and the soul is in turn is also a simple substance. All that there is one of the soul operates and exists within every part of the human body, and thus it is that simple substance act as vital force. The soul adapts the human body to all its purposes, the higher purpose of its being. The simple substance, when it exists in the living human body, keeps that body animated, keeps it moving, perfects its uses, superintends all parts, and at the same time keeps the operation of mind and will in order. Let any disturbance occur in the vital substance, and we see how suddenly incoordination will come. There is harmonious cooperation when the vital substance is continued in its normal quantity, that is, in health. What is more perfect than the human body in health, and what evidence have we of any greater wreck than the human body when it is not in health? We see also that this vital substance, when in a natural state, when in contact with the human body, is constructive, it keeps the body continuously constructed and reconstructed. But when the opposite is true, when the vital force from any cause withdraws from the body, we see that the force that are in the body being turned loose are destructive. When these forces are not dominated and controlled by the vital force, the body tends to decay at once. So we see that the vital force isn't constructive or formative, and its absence there is death and destruction. If we examine the very simplest form of living organism, the person body, we ob- will observe that it has the essentials of life, has everything in it that the very highest order of life has. It has the properties and qualities of the life substance of man and animals. It reproduces itself, it moves, it feeds, it is endowed with influx, and lastly it can be killed. Now we have said things, you have predicted much of the vital substance of the highest and of the lowest. It asserts its identity, it moves and feeds, it propagates and can be killed. All disease cause are in simple substance. There is no disease cause in concrete substance considered apart from simple substance. Therefore study simple substance in order that we may arrive at the nature of sick making substance. We also potentialize our medicine in order to arrive at their simple substance, that is at the nature and quality of the remedy itself. The remedy to be homeopathic must be similar in quality and similar in action to disease cause. This session powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention it in comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.